All right, so good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Toronto Seniors Housing Corporation Board of Directors meeting. Today is Thursday, October the 30th, no, the 31st. And thanks for, we are live streaming on YouTube as well, and thanks for joining us. Let me begin by welcoming our two new members of the board, Costa and Jess. I don't think Jess has joined us yet, but Costa, welcome. Very much look forward to your participation as a member of the board and benefiting from your tremendous experience in this and other areas. And I'm hoping that you and I will have an opportunity to have a one-on-one in the next week or so. But in the meantime, welcome and look forward to your engagement on the board. I also want to welcome back a number of members who are returning. Of course, we have Linda Jackson, Lawrence D'Souza, Brenda Paris, and of course, Jim Meeks as Tenant Director. Congratulations, folks, for again agreeing to put your name forward and for being reappointed to the board. And once again, look forward to your continued engagement. And I think I would be remiss if I don't thank Warren. I mean, Warren Law has been a pillar of support when I transitioned into this board. So I want to thank Warren for his time and effort and his personal support that he provided to me, and also for his time on the board, and to wish him the very best. And Warren, I'm hoping that you and I will have an opportunity at some point, if you're listening, to get together to do a more formal thank you. But I appreciate your contribution to the board. I would also like to acknowledge that October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month. It is also Islamic History Month, Women's Hispanic, Hungarian, Korean, and Latin American Heritage Month. So lots of nationalities and ethnicities being celebrated during this month. So we extend our best wishes to all those who are celebrating. It is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, as well as Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So these are all important consideration for us as we go forward and commemorate and reflect on what's happening during the month of October. We have a very full agenda today, so I will seek your cooperation to get us through in a timely manner. Not to sort of cut short any conversation, but let's try and make sure that we exercise some due diligence so we can get through the agenda in a timely way. We also have a number of deputations. We have one on the Audit, Finance and Risk Committee update, and we have also a deputant on the Quality and Tenant Engagement Committee, and I'll invite those deputants to depute at the appropriate time in the agenda. I will now proceed with our land and African ancestral acknowledgement. Toronto Seniors Housing acknowledges that we are on the traditional territory of the Wendat, the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabeg, and Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. Toronto is home to a vast diversity of First Nations, Inuit, and Métis who enrich this city. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Dish and One Spoon Wampum Treaty between the Haudenosaunee and the Anishinaabeg nations, the Two Row Wampum between the Haudenosaunee and the Dutch, as well as Treaty 13 and the Williams Treaties involving the Anishinaabeg and the Crown. Toronto Seniors Housing is committed to reconciliation. We honor the land through our communities and programs that reflect and respect its heritage. Our land acknowledgement marks a simple but key step in the process of reconciliation and building a positive relationship with Indigenous people. Toronto Seniors Housing Corporation acknowledges the racism and injustices faced by individuals who were brought to this land involuntarily, particularly those affected by the transatlantic slave trade. We acknowledge the experiences of Black people who arrived in Canada seeking a better life following the abolition of slavery by the British in 1834, while also recognizing the structural, systemic, and individual racism that they have encountered, which continues to persist today. This racism culminated in the tragic destruction of Africville, which was one of the largest settlements of the Black community in Canada. Toronto Seniors Housing is committed to recognizing all forms of racism, especially anti-Black racism, and is actively working to combat these injustices. We will now proceed to item number 3, which is new business and approval of the public meeting agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda which was previously circulated? Hearing none, may I ask someone move that the October 30th, 2025 public agenda be approved as presented? Moved by Brenda, seconded by Linda. All in favor? That is approved. Be it resolved that the October 30th, 2025 board public meeting agenda is approved as presented. We'll now move to item number 4, which is the declaration of conflict. Are there any declarations of conflicts? Seeing none, if something were to arise during the course of the meeting, please identify and we will deal with it at that point in time. I'll now move to item number 5, which is approval of the public session board minutes of July the 31st and August the 28th, 2025. Are there any amendments to the board public session meetings of either July the 31st or August the 28th? Seeing none, may I have a motion for the approval of those minutes? Moved by Linda, seconded by Brenda. All in favor? Any opposed? That is approved. Be it resolved that the July 31st, 2025 and August 28th, 2025 board public session minutes are approved as presented. We'll now proceed to the approval of the board closed session minutes of July the 31st and August the 28th. Are there any amendments to those minutes? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve those meetings?
Lawrence.
Thanks, Lawrence. Moved by Lawrence, seconded by Linda. All in favor? Any opposed? That is approved. With all in favor, be it resolved that the July 31st, 2025 and August 28th, 2025 board closed session minutes as presented are approved. We will now move to item number 7, which is a review of the action item lists. Are there any comments, additions to that list? Okay, seeing none, we'll now move to item number 8, which is an update from the CEO. Tom, over to you, my friend.
Yes, through the chair to the board. Good afternoon, everyone. And I first, like Fareed, would like to welcome our new board members and returning board members, and also wanting to personally, really a warm welcome to you from our leadership team to the board. And to Jess and Costa, we are really grateful to have your expertise and experience and commitment to Toronto Seniors Housing. Jess, I know from your involvement at 717, our building there and where you reside, a great advocate, very participatory, supportive of the tenants in that building, in working with us, and also the other advocacy and leadership work you show with tenants and also other organizations. So thank you. Costa, as well. Welcome. I spent a lot of time in the world of long-term care and care to the community, so I'm interested in when we get together just to share some notes from your experience and kind of share some more information around our housing and the mission here at Toronto Seniors. So welcome, and to the returning members, thank you for your participation and your ongoing commitment to Toronto Seniors. That continuity means a great deal to us. And I as well would like to wish Warren Law thank you for his commitment. He, as Fareed was saying, was here as the board formed and the corporation formed, and to this point in time. So wanting to thank him for his commitment, kind of his generosity and his caring here at Toronto Seniors. Just quickly on the next item for me on the 2026 budget, and you will be certainly hearing more about it through today's meeting. But this is a significant process for for our team, for our organization, for the city. And we just reflecting as the board had wanted on the mayor's priorities, the efficiencies in our budget, and as well kind of maintaining our financial sustainability, and any kind of requests for the new resources to better support our operations. That's all contained within this budget, and you will hear more about it. Also, just wanting to share with the board around our tenant experience survey. Really just so important for us to get that feedback from our tenants. And it had been our intention to have it out at this point in time, but with as mentioned previously, with the mail strike, it has been delayed. And so we have adjusted our timelines, and we expect that it will be in our tenants' mailboxes by November the 10th. And then the deadline for them to complete it and return it is January 16th. Also, just reminding the board members about our upcoming governance workshop, and schedules have been a challenge for us at the 14th, and that timing works good for our new board members. We plan on doing it here at 423 Yonge Street, and so the calendar invitations have been sent by Karen. So just make sure we ask you to block and secure that in your schedule. And just finally for today, I wanted to highlight some of the work that has been going on with our IDEA committee. And just there's most recently there was a video that was shared with all of our staff on a kind of a new intranet, and the IDEA committee completed a video in recognition of Islamic Heritage Month. And really this video effectively demonstrates our commitment to acknowledging and celebrating diverse cultures within our community. But I also think it's an opportunity for these staff to grow and develop and share their perspectives. And so we just thought that we would take a moment to show you this video. The two staff are, and it says in the video, but just it's Samira Islam and Jacinta Wambuka, who were part of this piece. So I'm going to turn it over to Karen to show to the board. And let's hope it works.
Hi everyone, October is Islamic Heritage Month, and so I want to share a bit about my faith. Islam is about peace, kindness, and devotion to God. Muslims believe in one God, Allah, and follow the teaching of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We also respect earlier prophets like Jesus and Moses, peace be upon them all. Our lives are guided by 5 pillars: faith, prayer, charity, fasting, and pilgrimage, helping us be grateful, honest, and caring. Muslims all over the world may live differently, but we are united by faith, family values, and doing good.
My name is Jess, and I'm no Muslim. This Islamic Heritage Month has taught me so much from my colleagues, especially about the beautiful festivities that celebrate faith, gratitude, and togetherness. It's reminded me that no matter our backgrounds, we all share same values of love, community, and respect. We've also answered a few common questions about Islamic Heritage Month on our in-house platform. So please take a moment to check it out and learn more.
Thanks. So just a little kind of illustration of what our staff are working with collectively with us. These two are involved in the IDEA committee. One is the co-chair. So it warms really my heart to see their kind of participation in this way, and we want to continue to this kind of work across Toronto Seniors. So that is my update for today.
Mr. Chair, you're on mute.
All righty, thanks. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Are there any questions for Tom? Okay, go ahead, Brenda. You're on mute, Brenda. All right, we'll come back to Brenda. Anyone else has any questions?
Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, now I figured out.
Just a question about the mandate of that committee, Tom. Is it just staff oriented? Is it just cultural reflections, or is it policy direction and strategic planning around DEI?
So through the chair to the committee, I will have got a quick response, but if Carol, if you have anything more, she's our lead on this one. But Brenda, I would say that it is doing all of the idea strategy reflects all of what you said, but the idea committee is working, kind of in more specific areas as it relates to that strategy. And so, Carol, I will, just if you wanted to share a bit more of the specifics around the idea committee.
Yes, thank you. So through the chair to the committee, to the board, the entire strategy, we are working on meeting our objectives that are outlined. At our upcoming CGHRC meeting, we'll have an update as to where we are. But yes, Tom is correct that it's all encompassing. So there are different phases within our strategy that are outlined, that have outlined various targets for our team to achieve. And so, yes, this committee will be instrumental. The committee is comprised of all staff, and we have 3 co-leads that you'll meet next week. And we are all working together on various initiatives.
Okay, so we'll have a chance to discuss this in committee.
Yes, we will.
And it comes to which one?
CGHRC on November 6th.
Okay, because I'd like to discuss the policy objective other than just cultural uplifting activities, which is kind of base level stuff. I'm hoping to have a little greater sophistication than that, just that. Okay, thank you very much then.
Okay, are there any other questions for Tom?
Mix has his hand raised, Mr. Chair.
Okay, go ahead, Jim.
To find out, is there somewhere online that I can view that? Because I couldn't understand, and there were no captions. So, like at my end, the sound was very distorted.
Maybe
So
thanks, Jim. Maybe what Karen, you can maybe send Jim the clip.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That's great. Thanks. And thanks, Tom. I mean, I think that's a great reflection of the work that the committee is doing. And I know the committee does a lot more than simply cultural reflection, but it's good to be able to showcase that. I know the committee work, and I know the work that Carol has been doing is much more deeper than what we have seen. So I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Let me move on to the schedule, item number 9, which is the 2026 TSHC Board and Committee schedule. So, Grant, over to you, my friend.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everybody, and through the chair to the board. As every year, we have to prepare a schedule for the future year. Before the board today is the proposed schedule for 2026 for the board and the 3 committees. I want to express a thanks to Karen, who has developed this schedule on behalf of the board, and taking into consideration a number of different factors, including the city schedule for committees and city council, for example, days of significance, also looking at past meeting patterns and items that we brought forward in the past, and putting together a schedule that will hopefully fulfill the requirements of the board and committee. There are 20 meetings scheduled in the proposal, and it is here today. We're actually bringing it forward earlier this time than in past years. Usually we'd bring it to the last board meeting of the year, but the good news is we're able to do it sooner this year. And so it's here for board consideration and approval, and we'll take any questions.
Yeah, thanks, Grant. Appreciate that, and thanks, Karen, as well. I know it's difficult to put these things together, and I know that staff did consider city council and council meeting, because I know that the senior staff who are attending here from the city, Denise and others, and Andrea would obviously be taken up at council and committee meetings, and I know or to elected officials as well. So appreciate that, and also taking in consideration our kind of multicultural calendar as well, and trying to, as best as we can, accommodate all of the holidays that we are aware of. So anyone has any questions, any suggestions, any concern about any particular date? Linda, go ahead.
Yeah, just a comment. It seemed like a long stretch between December's board meeting and the next board meeting. I don't have it right up in front of me, but I guess we could just actually put something on that schedule that, additional meetings will be planned if there's, significant items, because that has really been the pattern over the last 3 years, is that we have rarely gotten away with this few, to be honest with you. It does seem like for a pretty active corporation with a lot of things on the go, it seemed the number of board meetings to me seemed small, but I'm not looking for more meetings. I like having it ahead of time. So thank you.
That's a good point. Thanks. I think it would be useful for us to put that notation in, and because it's always difficult to find a common date for meetings that are on schedule. So, all right. Anyone else has any concerns? Sorry, go ahead, Brenda.
And following from that, where is the special governance meeting, the January 14th? That's not on this chart here.
So through the chair to the board, that is not on the schedule. That's
Okay.
before the board today, but it will be in January on the 14th.
Yes.
And so we'll get that invite into calendars, and that is happening.
Okay.
Earlier in the year. It's not a formal board meeting though. It'll be a board
I understand.
workshop.
So the board meeting, next one is in December, right?
We have 2 board meetings in December right now.
Right.
And
Okay.
then the next one will be at the beginning of April. I
Yes,
know it does look like a long sort of gap. One of the things that is in the schedule is a bit of a pattern to have the committee meetings feed into the board meeting.
Yes, right.
That's some of the structure, and that the first 3 committee meetings happening in January, February, and March that would feed into what are ultimately 2 board meetings in April. One of the reasons that there's 2 board meetings in April is because at the end of April, we have to approve our annual general meeting package to go to the city, which will include the audit and the annual report. So that's why that's scheduled like that, just for note.
All right, thank you then.
Okay, thanks, Grant. Any other questions, concerns? All right, seeing none, I'm going to seek a mover and a seconder to formally adopt the schedule. So I'm looking for someone to move that the schedule just presented by Grant is approved. Moved by Linda, seconded by Brenda. All in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. With all in favor, be it resolved that the board approve the 2026 TSHC board and committee schedule as presented. We'll now move to item number 10, which is the O3 biannual report, and I'll hand you over to Melanie.
Mr. Chair, sorry to interrupt, but I just, if I could add something, and I apologize. Under the CEO's verbal report, there was no mention of any of our negotiations and agreement negotiations. Are you going to be doing that in the committee reports?
Yeah. Well, what negotiations are you talking about?
Well, the ongoing work that the staff are doing and Tom are doing, negotiating with TCH.
That's different. That if you're talking about the financial pieces, that's in the in-camera discussion.
Not so much the financial, but just a report as to how the discussions are going. So will that be covered in committee? I'm just trying to figure out that, where the CEO will be.
I'm trying to figure out what it is that you're seeking, Brenda.
Well, usually every board meeting he reports on the work that he's doing on the. Sorry, I'm tongue-tied right this moment. But the negotiations he's doing on the cost allocations, the Toronto Community Housing relationship.
The cost allocation discussion is part of the in-camera meeting, and we can discuss and raise any of those issues at that time.
Okay, thank you. I just didn't know where that report would happen. Thank you.
All right, no, that's fine, thanks. Okay, Melanie, over to you.
Okay, thank you. So nice to see everyone today. So this report reflects the continued collaboration between the OACH and TSHC to prevent evictions, reduce arrears, and support tenants. So I'm very happy to report that as of August, all of the senior service coordinators were trained and given access to Wood Green's Tax Link program. Through this initiative, it is forecasted that the expansion of the program to TCHC and TSHC will prevent and reverse losses of subsidy while stabilizing over 1,000 tenancies in year one and creating efficiencies for staff. The OACH and TSHC also launched a new case conferencing initiative in August, and so far we have held 2 sessions. So feedback has been positive, with an average of 60 staff attending each session, and it is where it was identified that files with a referral to the Office of the Public Guardian and Trustee were impacting the arrears reporting. So in cases where an OPGT referral is required, it can take up to 1 year to resolve, and arrears accumulate during this time. So as a result, I made a recommendation that these cases be reported separately to the board to ensure an accurate reflection of tenant arrears, as these arrears will only grow and cannot be addressed by staff until the OPGT gains control of the tenant's finances. So in summary, this report highlights the OACH work with TSHC files, as well as the positive collaboration that continues between us to better serve tenants. And I welcome any questions that the board may have.
Thanks, Melanie. And as always, we appreciate these updates, and thanks for the work that you continue to do to help us sort through some of these difficult, sometimes contentious, but necessary considerations. So thanks again. I'll open it up for any questions that directors might have. Brenda, go ahead.
Just information questions. The loss of a housing subsidy, is that primarily due to the lack of filing of the proper documents to assess them? Or are there other reasons there people are losing housing subsidies?
Thank you. So through the chair, yes, the 90%, I would say, of the time tenants are losing their RGI for not submitting their documents. So they either require support, because now a requirement to have RGI is to have your notice of assessment. So sometimes tenants require support filing their taxes or gathering those documents. There are other reasons, but those are fewer and far between that we see them. The majority are for non-return of the annual review.
And on the issue of the public guardian, and I appreciate how long and the delays are when you go that route.
Mm-hmm.
Are we working with community organizations that provide some sort of, I don't know what they call it, public guardian-like supports, trusteeship, that's the word I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Are many of our clients referred to them? Is that a solution in order to avoid having to go the public guardian route, which has any number of complications as you outlined in your report?
So through the chair. So when we make a referral to the Office of the Public Guardian and Trustee, it is the last resort. So we will always try first to find family, friends, someone that can be their power of attorney. Even we look to voluntary trustees. So we would always try to use those resources first, or make those referrals. And the OPGT is really the referral of last resort when we've exhausted all of our other avenues, and it's the only way we see forward with sustaining the tenancy.
Do we get support with the trusteeship from the community partners? Is that a viable solution, or does that only apply to a certain number of people?
Through the chair, I would say, because it's voluntary, and often the people that we're referring to PGT, they lack capacity, right? So they can't even be voluntarily given that. So we'll try that first, but oftentimes it will fall apart fairly quickly. And that's when we determine that there's a lack of capacity. So that's no longer a viable option for that client group.
I see. That explains it. Yeah. All right. Thank you then.
Hi.
Thanks, Brenda. Thanks.
Jess here for Reed. Sorry, I'm on.
Okay, go ahead, Jess. No, yeah, go ahead.
I was interested, Melanie, in the Service Canada program, the pilot project, and if that's going to be extended to other tenants.
Thank you. So through the chair, so it's early days. So what we're hoping to accomplish with Service Canada is we're looking to, so what we find with tenants is sometimes they require support from Service Canada. So either retrieving documents, filing their pensions, and staff both at OACH and TSHC will try to support them, but it involves just sitting on the phone waiting for a few hours. And then by the time sometimes the tenants get to the phone or get to the live agent, they can't even pass the screening questions sometimes. So we've waited for 3 or 4 hours and there's no positive outcome. So what we're trying to do is we're going to be setting it up where Service Canada will be available to tenants at TSHC locations. So we're trying to have live agents. So staff, if they have tenants who find themselves in these situations, they can bring them to that location, or they can even call in and talk to an agent live and not have to go through that waiting period. So that's the partnership we're trying to establish. And we're hoping that we're going to start a soft pilot launch at the mid-November.
Thank you.
Thanks, Melanie. Thanks, Jess. Any further questions for Melanie? All right, seeing none. Melanie, once again, thank you very much. As always, I appreciate you attending our meetings and providing us with an update.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, we'll now move to item number 11, which is the 2026 budget update. So Vince, over to you.
Boy, someone really gives you good questions to practice with.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair and to the board members. Number 11 is relates to the 2026 budget update. For information, this item was brought up during our AFRC on October 16th. Attached, you will find the briefing notes, the timelines for approval of the budget, and also a quick presentation as it relates to the 2026 budget. Within the attachment 1 as well, you will find an overview, performance metrics, along with some of the major city directives and the mayor's directives as it relates to the 2026 budget, which included the focus on our tenants and along with the financial sustainability, and also looking over for finding savings and opportunities there. Within the report as well, you will find the TSHC budget priorities, along with the discussions we've had with the city and also with the Housing Secretariat, and also the latest financial positions with the budget as well. We will continue to work in the 2026 budget with the city and TSHC, and we'll provide a more updated as we in subsequent committee meetings, and of course ultimately leading up to the December 11th special board meeting for the board to approve the budget. I'll take any questions as you might have now as it relates to this 2026 budget update.
Yeah, thanks, Vince, and once again appreciate the work that you and the team have been doing. I mean, this is a difficult and challenging financial year, as most years are. We do appreciate all of the information that has been provided to the board today. So I'm going to open it up to any questions. I know we had a discussion about this at the most recent Finance and Audit Committee meeting, but if there are further questions from other members of the board.
Yes, Fareed.
Go ahead, Jess.
Regarding the directors and officers' liability, there's a deductible of $250,000, and I'm assuming that the city covers that, but I'd like some clarification.
Okay, Vince.
Through the chair and to the board members, I believe that number is for number 12, 12C, I believe it was. So we can discuss that that when we revise our item. Is that okay, Jess?
Sure. The other question I have, if capital costs are predominantly run by TCHC, should that be itemized separately?
Yeah, so through the board and to the board members, board chair and to the board members, the capital component piece is a responsibility from TCHC. That submission is provided separately, and since they are the landlord and the owner of these buildings, we do not submit that as part of our budget submission as requested by the City of Toronto. But definitely, we've been doing this now in the last 3+ years since inception of TSHC. And further information will be provided through the capital component with respect to TSHC.
Thank you, Vince.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jess. Any other questions for Vince? All right, thanks again.
We
So
do,
we'll now move.
Fareed, I think Costa had his hand up.
Sorry, Costa, go ahead.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
can't see the
Chair.
entire screen, so my apologies. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. CEO. Thank you. And I guess this is all new to me, so I apologize if I'm overstepping or if I'm not following the right format. With the insurance and insurance coverage and all, the new proposed provincial legislation under Bill 10, is that something that's covered in the insurance that speaks to illegal drug activity upon premises and landlords being held responsible if proven to not follow the bill?
Through the board chair, through the board chair and to the board members. We will discuss that in item, I believe is 12C. If it's okay, we can proceed to that. But definitely should be able to get that answer back to you, Costa.
Thank you. And again,
right,
detail
Go ahead, sir.
Sorry, thank you, Mr. Chair. And my second question as to details on the budget and conversation about revenues and expenses that will follow, I guess, later on.
Correct.
Yeah.
We do have a special in-camera session as well that we can go a bit more in detail as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Costa. Are there any further questions for Vince? All right, so if not, we'll move on to item number 12. And we do have a deputation on this item. So I'll give Karen an opportunity to bring in the deputant.
Сразу надо говорить и быстро причем. Так.
Karen, are we good to go?
So, Mr. Chair, I have admitted our interpreter and would like to welcome Mariana. Thank you for joining, Mariana. And I see the Garden Girls and Mr. Margulis have joined as well. I will just put on the screen.
Good afternoon, everyone. Доброго
дня.
дня.
Good afternoon.
Здравствуйте.
Good afternoon, and thank you. Let me also extend the board welcome to the Garden Girls and Mr. Margulis. It's great. Thanks for joining us. And I know that we have an interpreter for this deputation. So let me also congratulate this group on the recent Garden Award, which they received, which they will receive, I think, on November 4th. So congratulations. And once Karen is ready, you can start your deputation.
Yeah, and thank you very much, sir. And I congratulate the board of being reassigned for the next term. And it's nice to see the same familiar faces, and hopefully we are going to successfully continue our conversation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Margulis. So we'll now, the deputation guidelines are on there as a reminder to all of us that there are certain provisions and certain rules that we have to respect. So we'll probably just take 30 seconds or so to refresh our mind on what the deputation rules are or guidelines are. And Karen, once you're...
If we may ask Mariana to speak to the deputation's guidelines in Russian for our deputants.
Алло. Здравствуйте еще раз. So do I need to translate them? To read sentence by sentence and translate?
Maybe just provide a summary.
Summary,
Yeah.
okay.
Can she see the guidelines on her screen?
Mhm.
Okay.
Я могу, видимо, тут просто коротко перевести, что выступление 5 минут в целом, и не нужно называть имен, и воздерживаться от грубых комментариев, и вести себя в рамках приличного. И это,
Да.
пожалуй, все, больше тут ничего нет.
Ну да, спасибо.
Пожалуйста. Только будьте побыстрее, пожалуйста, переводите, потому что все-таки время ограничено.
Ну, вы уже это сказали, это кратко. Ну, если время ограничено, также вы это уже сказали, что это только 5 минут, это быстро, чтобы не задерживать всех.
Вы можете убрать эту заставку, и наши ladies, они хотят сказать пару слов.
You actually can take away this post and the people on the actually lady wants to say something, few words.
Wonderful. Thank you, Mariana. If you can note, I will be putting on the screen a 5-minute timer when they speak, but then when you translate back for us in English, I will pause the timer.
Они будут вам давать 5 минут каждой, и если вы остановитесь, я должна переводить, и таймер будет остановлен. Как бы у вас будет 5 минут. Но если я перевожу, они оставляют.
На каждого 5 минут или всем 5 минут?
Each person will have 5 minutes or for all together?
No, it is 5 minutes collectively on one item.
Как бы одно обсуждение, как бы один человек.
Ну, хорошо, Марианна, мы вас поняли. Гарри, подвиньтесь чуть-чуть. Вас не видно. Мы просто скрываем вашу квартиру, поэтому... Ну, да.
Okay, so we ready to go?
Yes.
Okay.
Представители волонтеров-цветоводов.
Oh, I can't hear.
Значит,
погромче.
All right, Karen, we can let's get started. So you can put the timer up.
Okay.
К нашим заявкам, то, что мы в прошлом году делали, нас и вообще годы, несколько лет нас игнорируют наши заявки, не дается нам то, что нам нужно для растений, которые погибают. Мы своими способами все это делаем. Как бы помощи нам не оказывают, той, которую надо.
So,
не получаем продукции.
All the requests that we done about the flourishing flowers was rejected. So we do that on from our pocket, actually.
Сейчас 2 недели назад обещали, и удобрения нам нужны, и компост нам нужен, и до сих пор мы ждем, можно было бы это сделать сейчас, но ничего нет. У нас много растений, 400 квадратных метров, и деревья, и цветы многолетние, не однолетние, которым нужна земля, компост, удобрения.
We're already waiting for 2 weeks because we need some nutritious for our plants. We have a lot of plants. It's about 400 square.
Галя, давай дальше.
Мы не знаем нашего фонда, сколько нам вообще выделяют. Отчета мы не знаем, сколько мы можем заказать. Если в прошлом году заказали на 1000, то нам дали только 2 ящика, которые стоят $200. Остальное все проигнорировали. В этом году прислали не то, что мы заказывали. Не знаем, на сумму только $130. А остальные, если говорят, что 500, а остальное ничего не прислано. Где это? И как нам обходиться?
So it was even that we don't know for what amount we are eligible. We were told it was thousands, but we got 2 boxes that value was 200. And they send us something that we didn't order.
Отвечают, что денег у них нету, что деньги потрачены на праздники, на которых праздников столько людей нету, и что денег якобы нет. И наша малая сумма, и то не могут нас обеспечить.
So they said that they spent already money for some events, and they don't. Yeah, and they don't have anything to offer now.
А я еще хочу сказать, что 56% составляют русскоговорящие арендаторы, а 90% составляют... Нет, 90% составляют волонтеры, тоже русскоговорящие. Поэтому все распоряжения и отчеты, я считаю, должны быть на 2 языках, на английском и на русском. Чего не делаются.
So I consider that it will be fair if all correspondence and documentation was in 2 languages, English and Russian, because it's about 56% consist of people who volunteers, and the other is Russian speaker, and it will be fair to have like Russian documents as well in Russian.
Okay, somebody asked me to speak in 2, but I want to tell you, the lady already have 75 to 85 old years, and they carry on the garden hose every day to water the plants. We need a water system. That's all.
Okay, and I want to to summarize this. Just basically, year after year, our ladies are refused to be registered as volunteers, which is shocking because they volunteer for 25 years. And respectively, their CAF applications are denied regularly and ignored. We send by email to community engagement leadership all the applications for ladies concerned and CAF applications, they were all ignored. So our community coordinator said that everything is spent on events. Events are funded for 150 people. Our building recreation hall can fit like maximum 80-90 people, but usually are present only 30-40 people or 20 people, as you see from photographs that I sent before. So basically, the basic question is, where is the money? The money goes down the drain and nothing is given to our gardeners. And ladies have to pay their own money to local drivers to go from councilor to councilor during the environmental days to collect free soil and some fertilizers. So really, if there were no support from outside volunteers that mostly I try to organize and outside donations, we would not survive. And nonetheless, we were able to win the award, the city-wide award for the best garden in multi-residential properties. So we are asking for audit for the last 3 years. Where is the money?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I appreciate the deputation as always. And again, congratulations and thanks for the work that you are doing. I'm going to ask if there are any questions from the board for the deputants. Any questions?
Just a question, possibly of staff. Does CAF cover garden activities and expenditures, or is it meant to be in-house activities? Physically in-house.
Go ahead, Tom.
Yes, through the chair to the board. So there is the ability through the CAF fund to purchase items for gardens, and many of our tenant groups in the buildings have done that. And just would like to inform the board and the deputants that Deanna, she's not here. She's following a session at council. She will be meeting with the tenants tomorrow to go over them with the documented information that we have. We have tracked all of the expenses. I believe for this building, CAF was approximately $7,000, of which $2,500 has been allocated and much spent. So we will be doing that very detailed reconciliation on Friday with the tenants.
And will it be addressing this specific issue? I don't mean just a recitation of what we've spent in the building, but I just want to make sure there's some engagement by staff with the tenants.
Through the chair to the committee, yes, and I would understand that from receiving this deputation and seeing it, that there needs to be better alignment amongst the tenants and our staff supporting the tenants at this building around the CAF application fund. There would sound to be some degree of kind of competing interests. We need to make sure that our approach is balanced across the building.
So hopefully the meeting on Friday with Deanna would help to sort of clarify some of these considerations as well. As always, Mr. Margoley and members of the Garden Girls, we certainly appreciate the input and the feedback. And then thanks for the work you're doing. Obviously, you have a real passion for your building, and the fact that you've won an award for the garden is a testimony to your efforts. So we do appreciate the initiative, and hopefully you'll get some clarification from Deanna on Friday about what the spending is and how that spending has been allocated. Are there any other questions before we move on to the next item on the agenda?
And my last point was about the translation, the communication translation. If staff could also address what materials need to be translated and communicating with tenants.
Yep.
That was the second issue that was raised.
Okay, so I know we do have a translation policy. I
Yes,
don't want to get into.
Yes, no,
I don't
I
want to get into the details, but I think I think we can.
Yeah, I agree. No, that's what I'm saying, because the staff could figure that out. We don't need to discuss it here, but you know.
Yeah, and I'm sure that those policies are followed when communications are sent out to specific audiences and specific buildings. So. Okay, so once again, thanks to our deputant. We appreciate your candor and appreciate your feedback, and we'll certainly try and ensure that the meeting on Friday follow up with some of these items, and hopefully you'll get some additional clarity on the allocation of funding and what has been spent and what's eligible. Okay, so with that, I'll now move on to a report from the chair of the Audit, Finance and Risk Committee. So Lawrence, over to you, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. At the last Toronto Seniors Housing Corporation Audit, Finance and Risk Committee meeting on October 16th, we focused on 2026 budget update, August year-to-date 2025 financial results, procurement change order, 2025-26 insurance renewals, and recommendation to the City of Toronto for TSHC's 2025 auditor. All of these items have been or will be brought forward at today's board meeting. Next meeting of the Audit, Finance and Risk Committee will be held on 26th November 2025. Back to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the update, Lawrence, and thanks for the work that you do in leading this committee. All right, so we'll now move to item number 12A, which is the year-to-date financial results. So Vince, over to you again.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair and to the board members. Through August 31st of 2025, TSHC has excess of revenue over expense of 4.215555, including of amortization expense. The excess include the following factors. Year-to-date August included the TSHC, TSHC reconciliation, which had a positive effect of $6.285 million. And there's a slight higher salary costs and also benefit costs versus budget, but also other savings in the professional, legal, and miscellaneous costs. So in the attachment 1, you will find the high-level overview of the statement of operations, and attachment 2 has the statement of financial positions. I will take any questions you might have now as it relates to this 12A item.
Okay, thanks a lot, Vince. Any question on the year-to-date spending update?
Yes, Fareed, I did have a question.
Go ahead, Jess.
Week, where there's apparently a $1.8 million surplus of funds that was going to be reassigned to TCHC. I'm wondering if those monies could be designated to providing air conditioners.
Okay, that's beyond my pay grade, so I'll defer to either Vince or Tom.
Through the chair to the board. So on this one, Jess, that is part of our agreement around how that surplus is allocated at the end of the year, and that would be in this case, that's with TCHC. So surplus or deficit is balanced between the two corporations. So I don't think that's such a bad idea, but we are kind of separately working to move forward and to speak this to the city specifically about the air conditioning, the pilot that was put in place last summer, and the opportunity to kind of expand that in 2026.
Yeah, just for your benefit, Jess, we did have a conversation about this at one of our previous meeting, and did kind of reiterate the importance of trying to make sure that we do provide our tenant with which has become a necessity in Toronto, given what has happened over the last few summers. So appreciate you bringing that to our attention again.
Thank you.
Any additional question on the finances? Okay, so we'll move to item number 12B, which is a procurement change order. Again, this was discussed at the Finance and Audit Committee, but Vince, over to you for a quick synopsis.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair and to our board members. This item is for approval. This is a change order for Hicks Morley, which specializes in legal services for collective bargaining, labor, and employment matters up to December 31st. We're seeking a $100,000 change order on this particular item as it relates to this area. And Hicks Morley is a very unique has a unique perspective and special knowledge as it relates to experience-wise, and also expertise as it relates to the legal, and also has been involved with the process throughout as well. So we're seeking for that approval, and yeah, I'll take any questions you have now.
I'll just open it up for questions. Okay, seeing none, we need to approve this. So I'm going to seek a motion to approve this item. May I ask someone to move that the Board of Directors adopt the following resolution: approve and award the following change order in which the cumulative change order value exceeds 20% of the original commitment value of the contract to Hicks Morley, formerly Hicks Morley Hamilton Stewart Story, legal services for collective bargaining, labor and employment matters to December 31st, 2025 in the amount of $100,000 exclusive of taxes. May I have a mover, please?
Lawrence.
Moved by Lawrence, seconded by Brenda. All in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay, we now proceed to item number 12C, which is the 2025-26 insurance renewal. And back to you again, Vince.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to our board members. This is the item for approval. This is to approve the 2025-26 insurance renewal from November 1st, 2025 to October 31st. There is a reduction of 2.6%, including the directors and officers insurance, which has now been moved out of the City of Toronto and started in earlier of 2025. And so that included that additional premium there. You will see in attachment 1 and attachment 2 that has outlined all of our coverages, including a portion of the overall renewal, which is for the liabilities and the general liabilities insurance. And I'll take any questions if there's anything at this point. And I believe Costa, I think you brought up something here earlier as it relates to this item.
I think it was just. Oh, sorry. That's Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I apologize. Yeah, it was specific on Bill 10. I guess if it should be covered, but just because it's a new bill, and you know, there's always two parts to it. One is the defense costs, and the other is any punitive decisions. Are those covered?
What's Bill 10, if anyone could just briefly say?
So it's, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. It basically, and not trying to interpret it, but I guess from our not-for-profit, it speaks to boosting public safety and holding the landlords accountable if they know and allow of any illegal drug production or distribution on rental properties. In a nutshell.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Costa. Vince, any response?
Yes, through the chair and to our board members. So we will investigate and review this a bit further. As far as we know, I think this bill just recently came into act, and so we will discuss it within our forum and also have further consultation, and we'll report this back to the board members.
Great, thank you, and thanks, Costa. Appreciate you bringing that up quite timely.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Costa,
sorry, go ahead.
Fareed, to
go ahead,
the chair and the board. Vince, I was asking about the $250,000 deductible.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the appropriate place to ask that question?
Yes, certainly, yes. Jess. Sorry, to the chair and to the board members. So this here is a new item that has been brought forward, as I mentioned earlier. Previously, this was included through the City of Toronto, and effective early of 2025, that has been transferred over to our policy. And so this now, starting in November 1st, will be also included in the renewal process. And there is a $250,000 deductible, as you mentioned earlier, on any of the errors and omissions there, which have included in attachment, I believe is attachment 2 on page 1 of that, and which highlights essentially that, you know, deductible limit as it relates to this particular policy.
Through the chair, to the chair.
Go ahead, Tom.
Vince, I do believe the question was about like who would pay the deductible, right? I believe, Jess, that was the question, right? And I mean, I'm not 100% sure.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I would suspect it would be the corporation, not the individual directors, but I can't say absolutely.
Thanks for clarifying
That
that, Tom.
was my
Yeah.
question, yeah.
Yeah, so the
Yep.
corporation will be the one on the hook for that 250,000 deductible amount in the event that there is a director's errors and omissions liability suit against the directors here.
Thanks. Appreciate that clarification. And thanks again, Just as a really good point of clarification. All right, so I would need, if there are no other further questions, I'll move this to the floor. I need a motion. May I ask someone to move that the Board of Directors adopt the following resolution, approve the 2025-26 insurance renewal with Housing Services Corporation, Inc., HSC, effective November the 1st, 2025 to October the 31st, 2026 at an annual premium of approximately $704,129, excluding applicable taxes. Do I have a mover?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Can I have a seconder, please? I'm gonna pin Lawrence. So, all in favor? Any opposed? That is approved. With all in favor, be it resolved that the 2025-26 insurance renewal is approved as presented. We will now move to item number 12B, which is TSHC External Auditor Recommendation to the City of Toronto. Vince,
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Up again.
To our board members, this is for the 2025 approval of the external auditor. KPMG was awarded through the procurement process with the City of Toronto for a 5-year term. The fee is expected to be $30,000 in 2025's budget. So 2025's costs. It's slightly up from prior year. Really, the change is due to inflationary pressure and also the audit complexity through the procurement process there. The interim audit is expected to begin in late November of 2025, and with the year-end audits expected to take place in February of 2026. And I'll take any questions if there's anything at this point.
Okay, are there any questions on the appointment of the auditor? All right, hearing none or seeing none, I'm going to also need a mover and a seconder, so I'll read the motion. We're seeking a motion to approve. May I ask someone to move that the Board of Directors adopt the following resolution, recommend that the City of Toronto appoint KPMG to be TSHC External Auditor for the year ending December 31st, 2025. Moved by Linda, seconded by Costa. All in favor? Any opposed? That is approved. Sorry, folks, in the interest of moving this along, I'm deputing on your behalf. Hope that's okay. If you have an objection to moving or seconding, let me know. All right, so we'll now move to item number 13, which is our Quality and Tenant Engagement Committee report. Once again, we have a deputation on this item. So if Ms. Dressler is ready.
Yes.
All right, so welcome again. Good to see you, Anita. Always a pleasure, and thanks for your continued engagement as part of the group. We'll just put up the TSHC deputation guidelines quickly, and I'll give you 30 seconds or so to refresh your mind about what the rules are before we start the clock.
Right. Thank you, Fareed.
All righty, so we'll start the clock. We've got 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the board. Thank you for allowing me to bring this deputation forward. I'm bringing forward issues that are occurring in all 83 buildings. Confronting certain issues is overwhelming and very complex. The issue that I'm bringing forward is children and grandchildren are taking over seniors' apartments. And in some cases, subleasing is occurring for cash. Housing is at a crisis level, but this does not mean creating a situation of fear, unsafe conditions, isolation, vandalism, disruptions in the quality of life for our senior tenants. Our lease clearly states enjoyment of quality of life and safe environment.
More and more apartments are inhabited by younger people under the age of 59, as per the requirements of the tenant's lease, also the 30-day rule. In some cases, they claim that they are caregivers. Not so. They leave in the morning, 7 a.m., come back at 6, and their friends join them for an evening of loud music, smoking up on drugs, and drinking with their friends. They send the elderly person down to the community room till they are finished partying. We hear the victims being yelled at, being threatened, being punched, verbal, emotional, and physical abuse. This is not a one-time event. This happens in nearly all of the buildings. If other tenants speak up, they're threatened, spit at, pushed, and intimidated by the loud, unruly guest of the younger person who has taken over. Quite often, other tenants take the elderly person water and food. It is a sad and unacceptable treatment for anyone, especially a senior. In one case, during the annual inspections, a yearly must for superintendents and staff, site staff, a superintendent was attacked. He was assaulted, and the grandson of the tenant who lives in the apartment started choking him. The superintendent was struggling to breathe. He ended up being badly shaken, gasping for breath, and has started taking physiotherapy for neck and shoulder strain. Tenants on the same floor that witnessed this were terribly traumatized. The person was arrested for assault. The mother and the grandmother, who is the leaseholder, showed up nearly at the same time as the police. The elderly woman identified herself as the leaseholder, who has been living with her daughter elsewhere, and her grandson has been living in the unit for some time. Can you imagine if this was an 80 or a 90-year-old or a disabled senior, not a very fit 50-year-old that was choked? It would have ended up in a tragic event. Stop just for a moment. What about your parents or family members? I know that you do not want a reoccurrence. For tenants or staff, many of you cannot even comprehend your own parents in this situation. I know this is not the only incident. Superintendents have been attacked, spit on, screamed, and threatened. These actions are unacceptable and traumatizing people who lived through the Holocaust, lived through the Vietnam War, other crises around the world, from communist countries, or escaping the violence of the cartels in South America and Mexico. Seniors only want to live in peace and have a quality of life to the end of their days. They do not want to be faced with violence, younger people pushing them, swearing at them, spitting at them, or terrorizing them. Please make our buildings safe. Check all apartments for senior takeover. Enforce the action of removal. We have people who have lived here for many years. They are not caregivers, but living freely and encroaching on family members' space and tranquility. I'm asking on behalf of nearly 15,000 tenants living in the 83 senior buildings. We live in senior buildings. Why are we living with younger, aggressive people? Please give the buildings back to us. Please give a directive for staff to enforce removal of these unwanted persons that impact on the seniors in a timely manner. Unfortunately, housing has a reputation of being reactive to situations, not proactive. Let's be proactive for a change before a tragedy occurs. Thank you very much. I'm respectfully submitting this deputation.
Thank you very much. Once again, I appreciate you bringing these matters to the board, and I'm going to see if there's any questions from the directors. I see Linda. Linda, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Fareed, and through the chair. Thank you, Anita, for bringing this forward. My question is whether this has been brought forward to the staff at any forum. And I guess the question that I also have is, because you did actually talk about the fear of reprisals, is do we, and this maybe is to Tom, do we have any anonymous way for people to actually report where there's concerns about something like this, where their safety is guaranteed, or their anonymity is guaranteed? But maybe over to Anita first.
Okay, thank you, Linda. We're told to call security. The only problem is we know that CSU is very busy. We know that they have a hard job. They have a vast area to cover and limited resources. But if they show up 3 or 4 hours later, what is the good of it? So, and tenants are afraid to call the police because of the countries they come from. If they contact the police, they're afraid of being imprisoned or never seen again. This is factual. Now, as far as reporting it, I know for the 5 years that you've been Toronto Senior Corporation, I have brought it forward. I also brought it forward when it was TCHC. And all I get is, yeah, we'll look into it. Well, I think by this time, it's time to look into it, time to act on it. We don't want to see our superintendent injured. He's a great guy. He really takes care of the building. This traumatized our tenants so much that tenants are walking down the hall in 2s and 3s. They will not leave their apartments alone. Our superintendent, the tenants are giving a lot of support to him, but this man's doing a job. He has a fear. I spoke to him the next day. His voice was still shaking. Now, this is a fit person, someone that is strong. If he wasn't as strong as he is, he could not have gotten this man's thumbs off of his throat. I
Okay.
saw slight markings of thumbprints at the side of his neck. This is totally unacceptable. Somebody has to take action, and a tragedy will occur. It's just a matter of time.
Okay. Thanks, Anita. Tom?
Yes, through the chair to the board. So, Linda, just there is the first of all, as it relates to, Anita mentioned this, there's the CSU, the Toronto Police, right? When in acute emergent situation, that is the response. That is what we tell the response. Tenants, I understand, I hear about a delay in the response to that, and that's something that we have to continue to share and work with the CSU on that matter. There is the fraud. I think Brad was mentioning. There's the fraud in a chat, in the fraud and in waste line that waste fraud line and waste line that can be used as well anonymously. So there are those avenues, and I would just like to say, in supporting the staff who did respond to this, versus recognizing how challenging it has been for the staff and tenants at that building. There was previous, this superintendent has had a difficult time at this building with other issues, but I know that our staff, our leadership, through their full support behind the staff in here and following up what they needed to do. So these are very unfortunate. They're scary incidents, but these are criminal matters as well, that the CSU and the Toronto Police Services need to be responsive, in timely follow up. And I also, just want to there just was a point in terms of the. I'm sorry, I just forgot my train of thought on that one. I'll end it there.
Okay.
May I
Okay.
say one thing, please?
Sure, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Tom, I understand your position. I understand you're working hard behind the scenes. But this building was one of the best buildings in the city. Brad Priggin can attest to it. But in the last year to year and a half, it's totally turned around. Why should our tenants be fearful of leaving their apartments? And when these incidents do occur, it's an emergency situation where they're so shocked they forget to call 911 if they're willing to call 911. So it's more of a cultural thing as well. So I would like to see the action of everybody in buildings that are under the age of 59 or not a registered caregiver be thrown out.
Okay.
These are our buildings, not these thugs. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thank you.
Anita. Brenda, you had your hand up. Do you have a question?
Just a quick point. I have no faith in policing matters because I know how these things work, and they just don't come, basically, and when they come, it's too late. My thought and suggestion, and we can discuss this at another point in time because I'm recognizing time here, is what is our policy on dealing with people through our administrative procedures? So, for example, whether Can we use eviction processes? Can we more assertively ensure that these people move out? It's not only a criminal matter, it's still within our policy confines and responsibilities. And this scares the bejeebers out of me. This more than any other thing scares me because the times are tough and you're going to see more and more of this. And I agree, we need to be proactive and preventative. And that means a very rigorous response on our capacities, limited though they may be, to ensure that people are out. And if the senior who is the resident is not able emotionally or physically to do so, then we need to assist them and whatever their family members to ensure it happens, or the threat of eviction will be used. I mean, other people are lining up for these housing units who will not cause grief to other tenants. So I would like to take a very rigorous, active stance on this and not just defer to it as a criminal matter, because we know harassment occurs under the criminal bar as well. Okay. And we just should not allow this to happen. This scares me completely.
So we can, thanks, Brenda. I mean, important considerations. So, I mean, one idea would be for the QTE to have a bit of a conversation about this and what are some of the administrative provisions that we've got to facilitate and deal with it. So I'm going to suggest that perhaps, Linda, you can take it up and we'll put it on one of your future committee meetings and have more fulsome conversation about this.
Great, and a report by staff back to the board on this, because this is board.
Well, I mean, that would be the normal process. I mean, everything that goes to QTE comes to the board.
Yeah.
All right. So Anita, once again, thank you very much.
Fareed?
I mean, these are.
Fareed,
Sorry, go ahead. Yes,
Yeah.
I am here.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. So, I know I joined in a bit late. My apologies.
Yeah,
can I just get?
The chair recognized Councillor Crisanti.
So thank you.
Sorry, I didn't see you. And then Jim, go ahead, Councillor.
Because I just want to quickly get some clarity in what I think I just heard. That the deputy, I think, was saying that the leaseholder isn't necessarily the individual or individuals that are staying in the unit. Is that correct? Is that what I heard? And it's other people living in there? Can I get clarity on what I heard?
Counselor, is the family members or the sublessees and their friends. So at any time in the evening after staff goes home, you might see anywhere from 15 to 20 younger people, 20s, 30s, 40s.
Wow. So okay, the way I
That's
understand
just
it,
my building.
all
So
right.
go by 83 buildings. It's a systemic problem.
Well, thank you, Anita, for that clarity, because I think the way it works in the outside world in real estate, if I have this correct, that the landlord has to approve any sublease. So it sounds like if that is a problem that's somewhat out of control, or out of control or not, or maybe just a problem that could be systemic across a number of buildings, then I think we have to discuss this internally, and we have to get control of our leaseholders and make sure that the people that are on the paper saying that they're staying in that unit are staying in that unit. And if there is a sublease for whatever reason, it cannot ever happen without the approval of Toronto Seniors Housing.
Councillor, with due respect, I called it sublease, but sometimes it's the children of the tenant that is renting out the apartment to younger people.
Okay, thanks, Anita, and thanks, Councillor. Appreciate that point, and perhaps that can be one of the items that we bring forward to QTE as part of the broader conversation. Jim, sorry, Councillor, you okay? Okay, good. Jim?
Jess?
Sorry, yes, Jess. I'm coming to you, Jess. I've just got Jim before you.
I'll save my comment for the next UCHEC meeting, because we will be discussing this.
Okay.
We'll save my comments for that, and because of the timing.
Right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jim. Appreciate it. Jess?
Yeah, I'd just like to make the comment that as an old person is the leaseholder, they will probably need some sort of social service interaction in order to help them navigate and protect them.
Okay. All right. So great discussion. And I think, we'll look forward to having this more fulsome conversation at one of our subcommittee meeting. Anita, thanks again. I appreciate you appearing before us, and thanks for your due diligence and keeping an eye on things, and appreciate your broader perspective as well.
Thank you.
All righty. So with that, I'll now pass it on to the chair of the Quality and Tenant Engagement Committee. Linda, over to you.
Thank you. And as our new members can see, this is the committee that actually has some very complex issues. The issue that we were just talking about has many layers, and we're happy to bring it for further discussion and to talk to staff in terms of the preventative things we might be able to put in place, recognizing that many of our tenants are vulnerable, and some of this is actually elder abuse. So we're not just talking about a simple issue. But anyway, our last meeting was September 30th, and like this meeting had many items. We have the larger discussion about OACH at our committee, and so anybody who wants to come to our meetings will actually get a longer version of Melanie's presentation and a little bit more depth. So we talked about OACH. We had our operational dashboard, which goes through the key items that we're monitoring. We are also in charge of the strategic planning process, or providing directions. So we had a Q2 progress report for the current directions, and we also had a preliminary discussion about the future strategic directions and the project, which you'll have which will be brought further to the board today. We had a conversation about the engagement, partnership, and communication update, and those partnerships are very relevant to our conversation. How do we actually make sure that we have partnerships that are supportive of our tenants? We had a report on our community safety unit, and we are going to have that at regular meetings. And we had an excellent presentation on aging at home models and things that we can learn about from other organizations and jurisdictions, and kind of under our innovation. Our next meeting is November 18th. For those of you who are not yet assigned to committees, you're welcome to join us because I think that we do actually have a robust conversation. I'm going to pass it over now to others who will update us further on the strategic direction. So over to you, Fareed.
All right, thanks, Linda, and thanks for the work that you and your colleagues continue to do on that committee. So if there are no questions for Linda, we'll move to item number 13B, which is the Future Strategic Directions Project grant. Over to you.
Through the chair and to the board, for item 13B, what we've got before the board was discussed, as Linda noted, at the last Quality and Tenant Engagement Committee, and it's an approach for how to renew the strategic directions for TSHC. The current strategic directions were developed and approved and set for a timeline of 2023 to 2025, and were developed at the inception of the corporation. This report, and there's a presentation attached, which I did walk through at Quality and Tenant Engagement Committee, but I won't go through the detailed presentation here. But essentially, it gave some context as to where we are in the progress with our current strategic directions, and we're fairly complete with regards to that, and some considerations about how we might develop the next set of strategic directions in terms of the role of staff and potentially consultant support. The proposal that was discussed at QTE is to have a blend, so staff would lead the overall project, and the strategy and policy team within TSHC would be those staff. There would be a more robust engagement and strategy associated with the development of the renewal of the strategic directions. If you recall, the current strategic directions, when they were developed back in 2023 and initially started the project in 2022, it was a limited engagement process at the time because we were new and a lot of other engagement had taken place. The proposal with this renewal is to have a more robust engagement, in particular with tenants, and to get some support for that with some outside resources to help us. The timeline that is in the proposal and in the report is to do this over roughly the next year. So a number of steps to work through this, starting essentially now through until around the late summer, early fall of 2026. We're looking to use the same template contextually for the strategic directions that we have today. So we have a series of KPIs. We have a model for how those are all set up with alignment between objectives, initiatives, enablers, all that stuff, as well as the dashboard and the roadmap. Ultimately, this is something that we see being a very important next step. One of the discussion points at QTE was the role of the board in some of the activities and the process associated with this project. Wanted to reinforce that the board has a very important and role on this particular project from an oversight perspective for the corporation. So there'll be a number of touch points for the board. Some of those are articulated in the report, and we added a little bit more context about that in the report in both the planning phases where we are now, the actual consultation efforts where we'll be getting input from the board on things like future strategic priorities, expected outcomes, ultimately the development, the materials that will be created to inform the draft of a future strategic directions view, and then the final approval, and that'll be done in stages, similar to how it was done last time. And then we'll continue with the board having oversight and monitoring going forward, the quarterly reporting, the other report on today's agenda, for example, giving you the Q2 update. There was some discussion at QT about the role of board in the procurement process associated with bringing on consultants, and I will just kind of clarify that there is a distinction where board members are not engaged through policy, procurement policy, indirectly or directly in those specific procurement activities. But I can reassure the board that they will be involved in all these other steps as we actually work through the process to renew the strategic directions. I'll take any questions.
Thanks. Thanks, Grant. Appreciate it. And thanks for the clarity as well. I think we got to make sure that, the board doesn't get too granular in some of the issues that staff have responsibility for, in particular procurement, because there are policies that staff have to follow in facilitating some of those purchases. Any questions for Grant?
Yes, I have some questions for you, Jess.
Go ahead, Jess.
Grant, I've proposed several things through STAC, one of which is to have a acknowledgement of older people. And I think that should be an overarching initiative for the committee. Also to have the city recognized as a dementia-friendly city, which I realize is a larger agenda, but in as much as we're all older people in the TSHC, to support that would be a good thing. And the third element of that, of course, is the rampant ageism, which we've had an example of for Anita, to have that be promoted so people are aware of it and are working towards negating that issue.
Through the chair, if I could just quickly respond. Thank you, Jess, for your perspective on those matters. And those will be important discussions and conversations that'll inform the future strategic directions for TSHC. I know, and I'll just extend that some of those will also be at the Senior Tenant Advisory Committee, which I know that seniors acknowledgement is one that is being considered there, for example, as well. So thanks for flagging those here as we are launching into our process.
Okay, are there any additional questions for Grant before we proceed? Okay, Brenda, go ahead.
Just a quickie timeline. Help me here. We're getting consultant support on this step. What's the timeline on that?
So through the
when
chair,
they're being hired, yeah.
Yeah, so we're looking to bring the consultant on board either by late this year or early 2026. So that's the sort of the timeline for that piece. We'll be doing some consultation and development of an engagement plan with the consultant once they're on board. Okay. That consultation will happen in late winter, like into the spring of next year. And then we'll work on the strategic directions renewal coming through the different cycles I mentioned with board into the late spring, early summer, and then finally concluding in late summer, early fall.
So our current roadmap here will just continue on until such time as it's renewed or modified.
Our current roadmap will still be in effect.
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
All right, I don't see any additional hands up, so I presume there are no other questions for Grant. So once again, thanks. I'm going to seek a motion to approve this item. So may I ask someone to move that the Board of Directors approve the proposed development approach for seniors, for Toronto Seniors Housing Corporation, TSHC Future Strategic Directions?
So moved, Linda.
Thanks, Linda. May I have a seconder, please?
Seconded.
Thanks, Brenda. Seconded by Brenda. All in favor? Any opposed? That is approved. With all in favor, be it resolved that a proposed development approach for Toronto Seniors Housing Corporation's future strategic direction is approved as presented. We'll now move to item number 14, which is a report from the Corporate Governance and Human Resources Committee. I'll pass it over to Brenda, who quite ably filled in for Councillor Crisanti. So Brenda, over to you.
Good, thank you very much. On behalf of Councillor Crisanti, I chaired the most recent Corporate Governance and Human Resources Committee meeting on September 17th. The meeting was a short public session where we highlighted the People and Culture Dashboard. We have no items to bring forward today, today's board meeting, and our next CGHR meeting will be held Thursday, November 6th, which is what, a week this Thursday. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Great. Thanks, Brenda, and thanks for filling in as well. Appreciate it.
So if I could, Fareed, I just
Go
want
ahead,
to thank Brenda. I really appreciate you sitting
No problem.
when you can. You did a great job. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty, thanks. So with that, we'll now move to item number 15, which is a motion to move into closed session. May I ask someone to move that we transfer into closed session under section Toronto Seniors Housing Corporation Bylaw 1-2021, section 4.19, subsection 1J, 1K, and 1L. May I have a mover, please? Moved by Jim, seconded by Linda. All in favor? Any opposed? That is approved. So we'll now move into closed session. I'll give Karen an opportunity to bring the